I speak to you in the name of God, Creator, Redeemer, Sanctifier. Amen. Who am I? Why am I here? Will my life make a difference? Those three questions frame all of our lives. As purpose-driven creatures created in the image of God, those are the things that we long to know. And when we get even a glimpse of the answers to those questions, our hearts sing. And it changes our lives forever. Sometimes it changes everything, like the story we hear today. On the fourth Sunday of Advent, whenever we read Luke's Gospel, we always hear this story of the moment when Mary discovered who she was, what she was called to be, and what difference her life would make. The story began with the Annunciation, right before this gospel. The angel Gabriel appeared to Mary, delivering the unexpected news that she would bear a son. But wait, there's more. This child will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High, and of his kingdom there will be no end. And as if that was not mind-blowing enough, that you're going to give birth to the Son of God, Gabriel tells her that Elizabeth, her relative, who was said to be barren, has also conceived. So now it's real. It's not just a promise. It's not just what the angel says might be. It's not just what's to come. God has already begun the miraculous. And as though reading Mary's mind at how impossible this all sounds, Gabriel says, "Mary, nothing will be impossible with God." That's where we begin today. Nothing will be impossible with God. In haste, she goes to see Elizabeth and discovers that it is real. Where there was once barrenness, there is now life. And in just a short time, God will be birthed into the world. To the least likely, God has given purpose and meaning to their lives beyond imagining. What is she supposed to do with all of that? What is her response in that moment? She sings. This song of Mary is known as the Magnificat, after the first words of her song in Latin, "My soul magnifies the Lord." And magnify the Lord Mary does, recounting not only the marvelous deeds that God has done for Israel, but the astounding things that God has yet to do through Jesus, who is only now stirring in her womb. How can Mary keep from singing when a new creation is inside her? When the Lord who has done great things for Israel is now doing great things in her, literally. when what is being birthed through her and into the world will change everything. We know what it is to sing too, don't we? Our voice in song comes from this deep place within us. It takes the longings and the hopes that our words won't do justice to and lifts them up to God. And we have all given voice to new life and renewed hope that's been birthed into our lives at one time or another. We have all had times of joy when we could not keep from singing. But there are other songs, right? Times when only music will express what weighs heavily on our hearts. Times when we sing together as church to somehow give voice to our grief or our loss. How many of us have stood right here in this place and sung through clenched teeth, eyes misted over with tears, trying to find gratitude in the gift of someone's life in the midst of our grief as we sing The Lord of the Dance or Amazing Grace or In Hope Abide with Me. How many people have sung throughout the ages, even though they didn't feel much like singing? Even though they wondered whether they could get through all the verses, because grief seemed to be washing over them like some dark tidal wave. In times like these, the song of the worshiping heart is like a lifeline. It bears witness to the truth that there is healing and hope beyond our darkest moments. That when grief chokes us up, there are others around us, so close, who will take up the song for us. If you think about it, it's what we do every time we gather, bringing the sorrows of the world and our lives and giving voice to them, not just in prayer, but in song, lamenting in our hearts and under our breath for Gaza, Israel, the Ukraine, Sudan, Haiti, countless other nations and peoples in these last 2 years. And today, singing our own inner dirge for Christians in Magdeburg, Germany, whose voices have been silenced. In the midst of all that, what do we hear today? We hear Mary singing with a mixture of joy for what God is doing in her life and hope for what God has promised to do for her people. Mary's song is about freedom, liberation in every age, of our hopes for freedom and peace right now. Our confidence that God will redeem what we cannot. That's the thing about music. The best songs are those that transform us somehow, that speak of our longing for redemption, that echo the desire for purpose and meaning in our lives, even when that is born of suffering or sacrifice. You know, whenever I come to this story, I ask myself, when Mary was singing in joy in that moment, if she could have seen all that motherhood would mean for her, all of what is to come, how one day she would find herself kneeling at the foot of a cross, reaching out to the bruised and lifeless body of her son, would she still have sung of the mighty one who had done great things for me? I think Mary would have sung it anyway. For the truth is, we sing in all the seasons of our lives. The church sings even in its agony. And maybe we sing most boldly and courageously in those times. Maybe we sing our best when we and the world around us is at its worst. How can we keep from singing when through either joy or sorrow we glimpse the vision that love is Lord of heaven and earth? Even in this cold and dark December, how can we keep from singing when just days from now, the lights and laughter of this holy season will reflect and echo the rejoicing of heaven itself at the birth of the Messiah? And we will rejoice too. How can we keep from singing when we remember that this babe of Bethlehem, the heart of Mary's joy, is not just ours to embrace, but is actually God embracing all of us? There is a song in your heart that you must find as we approach the birth of God in our lives in the person of Jesus. And there's a song that we all sing as church. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing?